Hello everyone and welcome back to the Juicy Byte YouTube channel and welcome to episode 7 of our Football Manager 2017 career playthrough. We're currently bang smack in the middle of the first season, and as you can see we are sitting right in the middle of the table with Simon Pankota, and we're playing in the Romanian second division. Just a quick summary of how things are going. Our job security is reasonably secure at 72%, and I say reasonably because while 72% seems quite secure, our club finance confidence is down at 14%, which is increasingly worrying, but everything else is fine. To be fair, we have dug that hole ourselves by overspending on wage budget considerably compared to the club's financial capabilities. Our mid-season player stats, just a quick look at those. Anderson is our top scorer with 13 goals. He also has our highest average rating with 7.19 from about 20 appearances there. He's got the most assists with 5 assists, and midfielder Andre Petrascu also has 5 assists. He's probably our strongest midfielder. Anderson again has the most player of the match awards. Our ball-winning midfielder Ismail Tader has got the most yellow cards, and with 10. And our right back Razvan Dulap has the most red cards. He's been sent off once. However, I think we've got another right back that's been sent off once as well. So he's not alone there on that rung of the sending off ladder. So what are we going to do this episode? So I covered at the end of the last episode that it's going to be relatively short in terms of match time. We've only got 3 fixtures to get through. We open against CSM RM Valsia at home. They're sitting second. We then follow that up with a game against 16th place at CS Baloteste. And we round it off with our cup game against League 1 Botosani. Now, I won't stop there. I'm going to play through to the end of the transfer window because, as you can see, we have a winter break that lasts through to the end of February, essentially. So I will basically play through to maybe the end of January, maybe even further, depending on what happens. And we'll see if anything interesting comes up. I'm not anticipating making much of a foray into the transfer market because I've got nothing to spend. However, I might make some cheeky job applications to see if we can move clubs, because it is a very limiting team, and while it'll be rather interesting, I suppose, to struggle on with a team with very limited resources, I think the longer term ambition should be to move to a bigger club. And when you're overspending your budget by 1.5k and all your spending is 4k a week on wages, you've got a very low ceiling. So I know I'm making excuses, but there you go. So we will continue on, and we will play our first fixture against CSM RM Valsia. Okay, so for our tactics for our first match, we're going to stick with 4-2-3-1. I've put Elvis back in at left back. He's not very good as a defensive fullback, and he's inverted wing back. We're going to stick with counter. There's not really much else we can change. I've basically told Anderson off about his poor form because he hasn't scored in the last 2-3 games, and he said he would sort that out. So we will see if he proves true to his word. Other than that, I don't really have any changes to make. So we will go up against our first of 2 tough challenges this episode. Second place CSM RM Valsia, and see if we can get something from them. 1-0 after 21 minutes, and Anderson scores his 14th of the season. 2-0 after 36 minutes. And a red card for Vassar. Alright, it's a half time and we're 2-0 up, and I'm really surprised about that. The goal's coming from Anderson and Giggles Booker. Both of them are playing pretty well. Everybody else is playing alright. The other team are down to 10 men. Let's look at the match stats. We have 10 shots in goal to the opposition's 1. On target we have 4. Off we have 3. So I wonder what happened to the other 3. 0 clear-cut chances, but 2 have gone in. We have most possession. We are passing better. We have won 100% of our tackles and 75% of our headers. Everything's looking good. So can we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory? Let's find out. And we have conceded one on the 90th minute. So full time, a surprise 3 points. I thought we'd get absolutely hammered that game, but we have came away with a win. So our players played particularly well. Complacency again showed its ugly head where we conceded in the 90th minute, but 3 points, can't complain. Some pretty good performances. I generally consider anything above a 7 to be decent. Anything in the 6 category is a bit, could be better. Anything below a 6 is you're not playing next game. And anything above like an 8 is fantastic. So our player of the match is Giggle Booker, who's got an 8.3. Well deserved there. I've got a few guys in a 7 or above there. And no one is below a 6. So, yep, pretty pleased with that. Let's look at the match stats. Basically, I won't go through every individual item, but we were generally better. So that's a very surprising result, and I'm glad that we can take it. So that result takes us up to 7th place in the table after 20 games. However, we do have Juventus Bucharest sitting in 9th below us, and if they get a win, that could springboard them up to 7th instead, and we'd go down to 8th. But hey, 7th, I'm very happy with that. Although, obviously, I'm now setting my sights on the top of the table. Getting a little bit confident, as I tend to do whenever we get a victory. As there's only 4 points between us and first place. Sadly, our Hangzhou job application has been unsuccessful because the other candidates were a lot stronger. Well, I'm not really surprised about that. It was a cheeky application that I'd put in the previous episode, and I didn't really expect anything to come from it. But it does put us back to square one. But hey, now that our team's on form, maybe we can do something this season. We'll have to just see if we can grind out a few results. So for our second game of the episode, we are against CS Baloteste. And I think we'll just keep everything exactly the way it is. I don't see any point in changing what isn't broken. 1-0, and it's a free kick from Mitu from just outside the box after 32 minutes. Okay, so we go in at half time, 1-0 up. This system we have now seems to be working pretty well. Again, not going to touch it. Hopefully we can hang on and we don't get complacent towards the end of the game. I'll probably switch to something a bit more defensive when we hit 70-80 minutes. And it's a red card. Well, full time. A nice little 1-0 victory. Came from a free kick. Let's look at the stats because we didn't cover it at half time. So we had 3 times as many shots, 3 on target. We still have a lot of off target. That's maybe our biggest problem. And we aren't creating clear cut chances, but at least we're getting a goal here or in there now. Much more possession, better passing, poorer tackling. So there you go. 3 points, so that's 6 points from 6. and that is a good thing. And that sees us climb up the table to 6th position, where we're on 35 points and only 3 points behind the league leaders. So we're heading into our cup game now. Unfortunately, Taylor has been suspended due to all the yellow cards he's been collecting. I wonder if he frames them and puts them up on his wall. So we've had to bring Poppa in centre midfield, which is fine. He's more than capable of filling that particular role. Other than that, no changes. Botasani are sitting 10th in League One, so I'm not expecting to come away from this game with any sort of positive result. However, you never know. We did knock out Polly in the previous round, so, you know, maybe we'll get something, but I will be surprised if we do. And we're 1-0 down after 22 minutes. Apparently it was a total fluke, but it didn't look like that to me. Okay, half time, we are 1-0 down. But we haven't exactly embarrassed ourselves. We are on the losing side of most of the statistics, but remember we are a division below these guys and they should be hammering us by comparison. So we will basically keep things as they are, and who knows, maybe we'll get a goal. In fact, I will change it to attacking once we start the second half. We don't have anything to lose. Well, 2-0 down after 46 minutes. Maybe changing it to attacking wasn't the best thing to do. Oh well, you live and learn. Down after 68 minutes, and I guess it's all over. 4-0 now, and when we start to lose, we really lose. So, 4-0 defeat at full time. One of my players was confused and they all switched off. There you go. Not a good result. We have a consistency issue. Well, we are consistent, I suppose, in that when we start conceding goals, we concede a lot of them, and it looks really bad. The first half went pretty well, second half, not so much. But hey, that's the end of the cup run for this season. At least it came against higher opposition. So what I'm going to do now is I will play through to the end of January, and we'll cover off transfers that have happened, and I will probably play a little bit more to get us towards our next fixture, and maybe cover off the state of the world at that point. So let's move on and see what excitement the January transfer window brings to us. Okay, so I'm sitting at the end of December. I've got a number of contracts expiring. I am literally going to offer some contracts to my first team players. You've saw there that I've offered 4. I've also renewed Poppa's contract, which you can't see here because I've already did it. However, I'm not going to renew anyone else's because, quite frankly, well, Mitu is a first team player, but he's not getting renewed because he's 41 years old. Surely we can get better than that. And the rest of them, quite frankly, can all leave because I'm not using them. And we'll be able to get better once the new season rolls around. So that's how the contract situation is sitting. Well guys, a bit of a shock here. We have got a job offer during the January transfer window. I did literally just apply to everyone, given that I see Soime Pankota as being a very dead end indeed. And we have an offer from China. So Dalian Chow, who are in the National First Division. They are approaching the start of their second season. They have a national reputation and secure finances, and some pretty good players for the league they're in. Have offered us a 1-season contract. and I would be absolutely insane to turn that down. And the reason China's pretty good to play in is that you have a massive wage budget to play, pretty much regardless of which team you take on. Same for transfer budget. So you have an opportunity there to go in and sign lots of guys, essentially, to boost your team. I know it's maybe a bit of a cop-out and giving up on the Romanian challenge, but I think we would end up getting sacked there anyway. So we're going to take that offer. So we've been welcomed to the club. Amusingly, the managing director of another team did not see me getting hired. Apparently it was a very surprising hire. And this character here, Mizu managing director Cao Yang, has responded to the media in the wake of recent questions. Journalist Yi Hao asked, "Were you amongst the apparently large number of people who were surprised at Chow's decision to hire Harrison Haggis?" Cao Yang responded calmly, saying, "I have to admit I did a double take when I first heard the news. It's a bit of a strange one, and I don't think many people saw it coming. I certainly didn't see it coming." So there you have it. So just looking at the team summary, we are a club with a growing history. We won the Chinese third tier for the only time in 2015. So there you go. We have bad facilities all round. Maybe we can get an increase there. In terms of our team stature, quite a bit of a mixed bag. We've got a favoured formation here, a 4-3-1-2. I don't know if we'll keep that or not. Have to wait and see. We play well against 4-4-2. We have an excellent central defender, an excellent striker, lots of transfer budget to spend, lots of wage budget to spend. We are good at creating chances from passing. We have strong leaders. We're best in the right-hand side of the pitch. Our weaknesses, we're not very good at 4-3-2-1, which is contrary to our very first strength. I think that's just basically the formation they like to play. They're also vulnerable against 4-4-2, so they play a lot against 4-4-2. I find it interesting that the weaknesses and strengths directly contradict each other with this particular summary. We have a poor right back, poor midfield depth on left midfield, not a lot of backup, poor youth prospects, so on and so forth. So I think there's a lot of work to do here to improve the squad, but at least we've got budget to play with, and that is a massive difference to our previous club. Let's have a quick look at the finances. We have 5 million in the bank. We are running at a loss, but you know what? That'll keep us going for quite a while, a couple of seasons at least. Hopefully they will keep me beyond the first season. They wouldn't allow me to have a 2-year contract, which I guess makes sense given the gamble they're taking on an unproven manager who's basically been a bit middling with a second division Romanian team. So we have absolutely no one in our under-19 squad. We have a few players in reserves. We're just going to promote them up and have a look at what we have. So that is our entire squad. It's not very big for a club of the stature we're at. Oh, I never looked at our stadium size. Let's have a look at that. But before we do that, we will start a coaching course. And that was very nice of them. They are now allowing me to get some training, which Simon couldn't afford. So I started a coaching course with the aim of getting a National C license. Anyway, we were going to look at facilities. So our stadium is a 30,000 all-seater stadium built in 1995. It is owned by the council, so we don't own it. It's in good condition. The pitch is okay. That's not too bad. We have very limited training facilities, I suppose, and that's going to be a weakness, but yeah, that's okay overall. We can work with that. Back to the squad. So let's have a quick look at what we have. Got 3 goalkeepers. Our best seems to be Wu Yake, and he's a bit but remember we are only in Division 1 in China, and perhaps we can fish someone out of the transfer market that's a bit better than him. Our backup keeper's very similar by the looks of it, maybe slightly worse. And our third choice keeper is dispensable, I think, is the way to word it. In defence, we have a very, very obvious standout in centre defence. He's going to be a first team player, but we will be renewing his contract as soon as we can. There's no reason, there's no question as to why he's a 5-star for this particular club. In terms of our homegrown players, we've got a left back here who can also play centre defence, and he's not very impressive at all. We'll definitely try to keep him over on the left hand side. Do we have any notable midfielders? Let's have a look. Well, we've got Ayrton Fej Zulahu, and he's more of a striker, really. Again, we want to keep him around. He's a fantastic player for this level of club. Got a winger. He's 5 stars, but I don't really think his attributes are all that great. Probably fine for the time being, but if we've got like a foreigner limit or something like that, he might find himself on the fringes or even departing the club. And again, this is our best Chinese midfielder. Pretty average. And is there any point looking at strikers? Let's have a quick look. Basically, it's the same guys that we've already looked at. And here's our best Chinese striker. So, weak homegrown players, very good foreigners, and we have a transfer window in which to strengthen our squad. We've got until March before we play our first match. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I will cover off the transfers that have been made around the world right now, and then next episode, when we come back, I will cover off my transfer dealings and preparation for the season ahead, and we will take it from there. So let's have a look at what's been happening around the world. Okay, so our current leading transfer is Taras Stepanenko, who has gone from Shakhtar Donetsk to China, oddly enough. Guangzhou he has signed for £62 million. And he does look like a top player, so I'm sure he can justify that fee. We've got Gabriel Jesus there. That's the kind of second place transfer at 27 million from some Brazilian team to Manchester City. Javier Hernandez has gone from Leverkusen to Tottenham Hotspur for 22.5 million, possibly rising to 30.5 million. Fred has left Shakhtar Donetsk for Liverpool for 22 million. Shakhtar seem to be having a bit of a clear out. Mario Lemina has left Juventus for Real Madrid for 14.5 million. Stefan Jovetic has gone from Man City to Inter for 12.5. Carlos Vela from Sociedad to Inter. Inter definitely loosening their purse strings there for 12.5 million. Balotelli has left France. He must have caused enough trouble there. He's gone to Germany this time, to Borussia Dortmund for 11 million. And rounding up the 10 million and above mark, Sergio Gomez has gone from Celta Vigo to Manchester City for 10.25 million. So let's have a look around the world at the various competitions. Okay, La Liga. Athletic Bilbao are top after 21 games with 43 points, but they are joined there with FC Barcelona on the same point tally. Now, Athletic Bilbao have a lesser goal difference, so I just assume that the results between the two teams have been in Athletic Bilbao's favour. Following up those two top sides, we have Atletico Madrid in third place on 42 points, Villarreal on 40 points, and Real Madrid in a lowly fifth position on 39, but Real Madrid have got 2 games in hand. At the bottom of the table, Real Hispalis finally picking up a couple of wins there, but they're still propping up the foot of the table on 13 points and a goal difference of -20. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich holding on to their 8-point lead after 18 games on 45 points. Wolfsburg and Leverkusen on 37, and trailing behind we have Stoke on 31 points in 4th place. In the English Premier League, Arsenal are now comfortably on top after 24 games with 58 points. Jose Mourinho is doing better in game than he is doing at the time of speaking in real life. Second place there for Man U with 51 points, and Chelsea right behind them on 50. Manchester City on 45 points in 4th, and current champions Leicester on 45 points in 5th position. In Italy, Juventus 3 points clear with 45 points. They still have a massive goal difference compared to any of their rivals. Chievo Verona second on 42 points, and they're just over the halfway point in their season. In Portugal, FC Porto top, 43 points. Benfica second, 41 points. Sporting Lisbon on 40 in third. In France, PSG really running away with it now after 21 games and 54 points. They've only lost 1 game. Olympique Lyon are second on 43 points, a whole 11 points off PSG's pace setting. Monaco have climbed up a little bit. They're on 41 points. In Russia, Zenit St. Petersburg and Rubin on 38 points. Poor little Orenburg there, sitting bottom with a single figure points tally. They've only got 8 points after 17 games and only 1 victory. Netherlands, Feyenoord are top, 44 points after 20 games. Ajax, 41, second place. PSV third with 36 points. No surprises there, really. Let's look at Turkey. Besiktas are top in Turkey. That's great. Finally, a team whose name I can pronounce. They've got 39 points. Galatasaray are second with 35. And our former league leaders, who I cannot pronounce, are third with 33 points. And they're now in the same points tally as Karabükspor as well, who are sitting in 4th. So our former league leaders there have dropped down a bit. In Greece, Panathinaikos are top with 45 points, overtaking AEK Athens, who are now second with 42. And let's go and look at Scotland. Celtic top now, running away with it, 51 points after 23 games. Aberdeen second with 40. Hearts third on 39 points. And I think we will leave it at that. Yep. I think that's reasonable for this episode. So, thanks for watching. I will basically start my next episode as Season 2, Episode 1, given that we are moving into a new season with our new team. But we'll be making a lot of transfer wheelings and dealings, I hope, and strengthen the squad. So, yep, gave up with Romania too hard, perhaps. Well, to be fair, we could have stuck with them and maybe saw how we progressed, but I think the quicker in a career game that you can jump to a team that's got finances, the quicker you can progress your character. We've already, in a matter of one day, been able to progress because we have been able to basically get on a coaching course which will boost my character stats. Where did we leave it off with Romania then? So some of our stats progress from 2s to 3s, some of them from 1s to 2s. We gained basic Romanian, so we got something out of it, and we gained a little bit of knowledge of Romanian players as well now. I don't know if this will decrease or not. It has in previous games when I've moved countries. Your knowledge of the country tends to decrease. We'll see if it does in this one. What are our stats like? We've got 5% reputation, 99% media handling, 55% tactical consistency, 50% hands-on approach, poor 30% management of finances, but I think we'll be able to fix that with our new club. 50% discipline, 50% loyalty to players, and last but not least, 55% domestic player bias. So we improved our character a little bit in the half season we played in Romania. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe.